And welcome back. I think it's safe to say that young people have a much more complex, competitive world to deal with than many generations before, and that puts more pressure on high school students to start thinking about a career path earlier. Joining me to talk about a group trying to make sure high schoolers are getting enough advice, especially from people who know what they're going through, are the leaders of PAGE, Professional Active Guidance and Exposure. It's Hudson Lau and Winnie Lau, the co-founders. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Well, give us an idea, first of all, in terms of how the organization started and why.
Well, it started from our shared experience as my sister and grew up as first-generation Asian Americans here, Chinese specific, and our parents telling us to get good GPAs and go to UC Berkeley. And we quickly found out that wasn't the only steps to succeeding in your career. So PAGE, Professional Advice, Guidance, Exposure for Teens, is a volunteer-run nonprofit dedicated to helping teens plan for their careers and aspirations by giving them the right professional advice, guidance, exposure, with the right industry people. We think that the right contact with people in the field give the quality that advice is lacking right now
a little
for
more
teens.
Extensive advice.
Exactly.
When you give me an idea here in terms of what did you feel was lacking? What do you wish that you had gotten more advice about, or maybe more information about when you were going through that?
Well, when I was in high school, I felt the biggest disconnect was what I wanted to do and how it really was in the real world. And no matter how many classes I took, it really didn't give me I was on the pre-med route. I always thought, get good grades, become a doctor, and then that was going to be it for me. But during high school especially, I felt like I never really had a good idea what it meant to be a doctor. And if I actually had someone to talk to, like an actual doctor, or someone in my family that was a doctor, it would have made the difference.
Yeah, a good friend of mine, for example, his goal was to go to law school, but he didn't have any idea what it meant to be a lawyer and that kind of thing. So in terms of, I know you reach out, you're part of the outreach.
Yes.
What do you see? What kind of feedback are you getting? Are students even aware that they're not getting enough advice? I mean, what kind of situation are you running into when you talk to students?
When we talk to students, they all are very on board, because when you first explain to them that there's basically another world they're not aware of, and I think they understand that, they see that, and they see it on TV too, where like, why are these people dressed like this and whatnot? And then I didn't experience that until I started going to college and interning and externships, and then until I really actually started working, that there was a next step. And I think right now students are very, very aware that they are trying to get the edge. Going to college is being more commonplace, thank God, but people need experience, and I think that's being echoed throughout hiring and job applications and college applications, and students right now are starting to understand that. So they're very, very receptive, and they're excited, and we're excited for them too.
Yeah, I guess in a way it's sort of like what you were talking about before, whereas that you need to see beyond college, right? You need to see, your scope needs to be broader now, huh?
Exactly.
How do you do that? How do you, you were mentioning in terms of reaching out to industries and people like that, what kind of feedback are you getting from, professionals? Are they willing to help?
Yeah, professionals are actually easier to get. People want to give back, and we actually designed the program with the volunteers in mind just as much as the teens. One of the key concepts was flexibility. We wanted to help foster exploration between careers from the kids and from the volunteer standpoint. I mean, it's intimidating. It's hard to commit to a great programs like the Big Brother, Big Sister program, which asks for a year minimum, most likely 2-year commitment. But it doesn't mean people don't want to give back. And we understand that. And so the program only asks hosts to commit to one shadow session, which is about 2 hours long. And we structure it so that the quality is what we stress. So they get the questions answered, they get the feedback. At the host's actual workplace, we think that makes a very big impact to actually help, like you were talking about, see the next step and help them reach it too.
And again, you give people kind of a realistic look at the way life is. Thank you very much for coming on our show and telling us, and we'll keep track of your organization and see how you do, okay?
Thank you for having us.
All right. Well, PAGE has taken on quite a job, so good luck.